Oh man, Eric, we've really learned a lot this year. There's a lot to reflect on. We had so many amazing people come on and share their experiences and their tips and tricks to help us out professionally and personally. It's been a crazy, crazy year.
It has. Yeah, we've talked about accountability, hard conversations, learning, communication has been a big one, and engagement. Those have all been some pretty big topics for us. And when we dive into that, we'll recap a little bit, but also we need to talk about networking some because we've connected with so many different people this past year. Yeah. And of course, we can't forget, in addition to networking, we have to find our purpose, find your people, and find your place. It's okay.
No.
Well, here we are, the end. But we need to recap a little bit. Milena, I kind of wanted to ask you about what are your favorite episodes or one of your favorite moments? When did that happen for you this last year?
I think it's kind of hard because every person that we were able to talk with and connect with brought something amazing and a wonderful kernel of knowledge to kind of help us grow and move forward. So it's really hard for me to pick just like one or two or anything like that. I will say one conversation that really stuck out with me was when we were talking with Errol, and we were talking about how, you can change that mindset throughout the day. You can start the day off right and how to do that and how to not let those little things kind of build up where then you feel too weighted down to feel like you can continue. And I feel like that really helps balance out a lot of the other topics that we were able to talk about. Because I know when I'm overstressed or I'm down and I'm just like, it's a bad day after bad day, I'm not in the right headspace to receive constructive criticism or, think about accountability in the clearest of heads space. So I think it really helps to lighten you up, refocus your day so you can continue on and kind of go through those motions.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that one. And I think one thing that stood out for me for that episode as well was when we were talking about like that 30 seconds of your day that's terrible, that doesn't go your way, or a minute or however long. You have 24 hours. You don't want to let a 2-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute, heck, even a 10-minute thing destroy everything for your day. You got 23 more hours left. You got 22 more hours left. You have a ton more time to turn the ship around, to keep it positive. But also, like you said too, and like we had talked about in that episode, being mindful from the start of your day. There's days that I wake up where I wake up on the wrong side of the bed and I let that consume me. But instead of doing that, I should wake up and be like, wow, I don't feel so good today. Let me get up. Let me throw some water on my face, say it'll be okay. It's going to be a great day today. Keep a positive attitude and go from there. So I get that. Yeah, that was a good one that really leads into everything else that we've talked about.
I kind of felt the same way, and I'm right there with you. It just refreshing your day and starting it off right makes a world of difference. 100%. And it's hard to do that, especially when you're in go mode or there's a lot on your plate. But it's one of those great messages to kind of have in the back of your head. But tell me about your favorite moments. I want to know. Yeah. Give me the ins and outs. Give me the goods. Give me the goods.
Spill the tea. For me, I would say it really jumps between two of them. I could say 3 actually, or maybe 10. But one thing that pops in my head right away is actually going to be the episode that we did with Jerome. That was one of my favorite ones. All the other ones were also great. But really having that conversation of moving past things, that's a hard thing for lots of people and hard thing for me. Even to this day, even after I had that conversation, I struggle with it sometimes. But being mature enough to say, okay, I messed up, or you messed up, or this person messed up, or this process didn't work the way we wanted it to, learn from it. Take accountability for it, but also don't let it fester and sit there and be this negative thing that just bottles up and eventually explodes. It's one of the first pieces to getting over something is realizing when you're not angry anymore, you're disappointed. I remember that was a big piece of that episode, and understanding that, because it's a lot easier to move past disappointment and understand it than it is anger. when you have that first initial jolt of, grr, I'm mad, it turns into, wow, that sucked. But what can we do better? How can we improve? Was there a communication lapse? Was there this? Was there that? So I'd have to definitely point to that as one of my favorite moments this year.
Absolutely. And I'm right there with you. It's so easy to just take that in and just get down on yourself and let that fester and then feel like you've let other people down. And it's hard to move past that. And, you know, he mentioned in that too, building that trust with them and letting them know like, hey, we're all stumbling. We're all human. We can always move forward. I think that's always an important thing to remember is 100%. That you can't change the past. The best you can do is acknowledge what happened, correct it, and move forward because time's going to keep going regardless of where you and your mind are at. So even if it's in the past, time's still going to be like, it's Thursday. That happened Tuesday. We got to, let's keep on moving along and showing you that it's okay.
Yep.
Keep that ball rolling.
Only thing constant is change, whether that's how you do things, whether that's the things around you, or whether that's even the time. It changes every second.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like that kind of goes into a lot of, again, of the other topics that we've talked about, like constructive criticism. I know I've talked about it just briefly before, but I mean, it's true. If I'm not in the right headspace or I keep on doing that, you're not in a constructive mode.
Agreed.
You can't give that good criticism back. So as Abby said, you know, taking that moment, that breath, and mirroring what Jerome is saying and saying, just let it go, you can really move forward with a vital piece of what you need to succeed.
Yep, 100%. I think we'll talk about this a little bit too. Throughout our entire season, we've talked to lots of different people. We've learned so many different things. I know we've touched on that a little bit already, but that's one of the powers of knowing others and being able to learn from them. There were experiences that were shared that I would have never known about. I would have never been able to learn from if I didn't put myself out there and start conversations. Ask them, hey, do you want to be on the podcast? Hey, do you want to talk about this topic? And learning to or trying to understand and talking to understand with what they're going through. It's a really big piece to growing as individuals, is putting your best foot out there. And it's scary sometimes being able to say, I don't know you. Who are you? You know, what do you do? Trying not to interrogate them, but still asking questions, learning about others, and growing from that. Yeah, that's a big thing I feel like we've accomplished this year so far. And I really want other people to do that as well, because you close yourself out to so many opportunities when you don't leave yourself open for new things, for new experiences, for new connections, for new people, for new whatever it is. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it really is that, as like, I guess the broad spectrum of it, of that networking that you do, and you don't even realize that it's networking. I know when I hear the word networking, I think I have to go to a gala, an event, or, you know, like a business meeting, which is all great because it's true. You can network there. You are making connections with, you know, new people who can help you. But I think sometimes we forget the small picture, and that small picture is that networking can be the person beside you if you're in office. At home, it can be the next person on your team. It can be your manager. It could be your lead. It could just be your coworker. It can be anybody. And I think that really speaks volumes and powers of how amazing connection and networking can go, because that one little spark, oh, you like this? Well, you should meet so-and-so. They like this too. And it all blends together. I mean, it's just like when we spoke with Eve. It's that personal passion. That's a connecting piece that you can connect with someone else. Hey, you enjoy sewing. I enjoy sewing. Let's get together and we can build each other up. And oh, hey, let me introduce you to this person. And that could lead you to where you want to be professionally and personally. It's really just amazing what that can do, and being open to it and having these conversations. It feels like it's just the easiest networking ever because it's just open and honest, and it's been really wonderful. Agreed,
100%. One thing too, you just touched on it with the events, and I know as a person, for me, that kind of can shut down in those scenarios and be more of an observer. Rather, maybe not shut down is the right word, but
A little more reserved.
Yeah, where I'm like, I need to see what's going on here, and then I need my group or my person or people that I can like come back to for that comfortable,
almost like that
talk.
grounding. Like
Exactly.
you need to ground. You need them to ground you 100%. A little bit. Yeah.
Yep. But finding ways to be more okay with going up to people. And it's not all about, here's my business card. We're not throwing around business cards like Gambit throws around playing cards. It's like, take it. Not like that, but actually creating those connections instead of just like, here's my piece of paper. And one conversation I had this year outside of the podcast was kind of acting as much as you can like a golden retriever in those types of moments. Now that can be very difficult for some people, but just being happy that you have the experience of meeting somebody new. If you're able to break down that barrier, it all becomes a lot easier. And also making sure you don't feel stuck, because there's going to be some people you go up and talk to and you're like, hey, what's your name? And then they're really passionate about boats and you know nothing about boats. That can be an opportunity for you to ask questions. Or if you're like, wow, this is the most boring thing ever. Nothing against boats, by the way. But if it's not hitting for you, that's your time to say, let's go find a new connection. Let's go talk to somebody else. Let's go try to learn something else that's new. But I know if I ever need a boat issue fixed, I know the guy or the girl or the person to say, hey, let me talk to you about boats real quick. That's been one barrier for me that I've tried to break through. A little bit difficult, but once you kind of put it in that mindset, that networking piece really starts to fall in a lot more, because you're not as scared to find those connections. So,
absolutely. Yeah. And I think and I totally understand where you're coming from, because as much as a big bubbly person I am, I can also be like, haha, I would just need my one person. Yeah. So my anxiety, me personally, I can just be, okay, we're good. We're calm, we can move forward. And what I've realized in those situations too is body language and how you hold yourself changes everything when you're in those big group settings. I know that if I'm smiling more, and let's just say my terrible posture actually gets a little bit better, and stand up a little straighter, or I have my hands more like just lightly clasped in front of me instead of like crossed across my chest or behind my back. I'm not looking timid. I'm not looking shy. I'm looking relaxed. And people are like, oh, hey, that person seems relaxed and friendly. I'm not going to go up. And it leaves those opportunities for people to approach you as well. So if you have a hard time approaching others, you are now opening yourself up for that approach in the same way. And, you know, I end up looking for people who mirror that kind of body language, or I can kind of tell how they're wanting to interact with the room just based on how they're carrying themselves or who they're talking to. And I think being able to read the room in that sense really helps you as well, going, these people, they want to connect. I want to connect. I know I need to kind of figure out a way to mingle with them and start a conversation. It gives you that like light bulb moment, if you will.
100%. Yeah, body language is huge, especially in those events or those spaces where there's a lot of different people, there's a lot going on. It can be kind of overwhelming when you, like you said, see the person that's crossed and is just maybe looks bored or sitting there, whatever it might be. You don't really want to go up to them. And if you kind of put that on yourself, like, what do I look like right now? Am I standing in the corner with my arms crossed, leaning on the wall? Okay, maybe you look pretty cool, but is anyone going to come talk to you? Maybe not. Depending on, you know, what type of event you're looking at or what your goal is of the event. Those are really good things to kind of keep in mind with. Another thing too that I've learned, and this is from a TED Talk, I don't remember who talked about it, but it was how do introverts network? Because it's a weird concept. When you are someone that doesn't really like talking to people on like that small talk scale, where you're like, oh, what's the weather outside? Is it looking nice? You know, not everyone really hits on that level and can take it from there. But kind of gamifying it in a way to where each person you know is a dot on a spectrum. And this spectrum, you can connect and you can create pictures. You can do constellations. This person you met 3 years ago at this event is a little dot over here. And you remember they said they really want to do this one task of sewing or of whatever task it might be, or they need help with IT stuff if it's business. And you have this other thing, this other dot over here that you met a year ago, say, oh, let me connect these people. That can be really, really gratifying, rewarding to be the one that says, I connected these dots. I started this connection for them just because I knew them. I had some way to contact them. I had some way to get them in touch with each other. And that actually builds those like really meaningful connections as well. Not just, hey man, it's been a year since I talked to you. It's like, oh, this person helped me from the small time they met me. They knew me. They remembered something that was impactful, and they made an impact on my life just because they listened, just because they kept that dot somewhere. They networked with me and they connected it later on. So
absolutely. And, you really brought it home for me with that last bit too, where you said it was a meaningful connection, because I think that's also something that can feel very daunting. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have 100 connections. You don't, especially if none of them are helping you personally or professionally, especially if they're not helping you out in those two realms. They're just there because you know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. And yes, that is very nice to have, but it's not the important connections. It's not the important part of networking. It really is to strengthen you as an individual and them, and creating that connection, which then builds the community of what you are all trying to achieve. And that could be a business plan. That could be personal development. It could be professional development in a completely different way. It could be trying out something new professionally, something new personally, but you're building that with meaningful connection. Even if there's only 10 of them, you networked successfully to 10 individuals that are going to help you succeed in what you are wanting to do. You don't need 100 of them.
That's 10 more you had than the other day.
Yeah.
Too. It's a plus.
Yeah.
Even if it's 1,
if it's
2,
1,
3, 0.5, I guess, if you are like, maybe this is a connection.
Absolutely.
But at least you tried.
Absolutely.
At least you did something.
And, that, again, goes into what we've talked about in the past, too, with that engagement. Mm-hmm. Getting that engagement through networking is just going to strengthen relationships and build trust, which is the foundation to build
100%.
On. Like, it's just, I love it. I'm just like, it's so true. You said that, and I was like, yes, bring it home. I love that.
100%. I did have one question for you on the relationship building networking side of things. One thing that I struggle with a lot is maintaining those connections over a long term. They kind of just like fall to the wayside sometimes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably reach out to them. What are some things that you do to help make sure those connections that you've made at least stay there? Maybe not you're reaching out to them every day, but at least stay relevant.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. Thankfully, my friends and family give me a lot of grace, because I am a terrible texter when it comes to that, like responding in those sort of situations. But, the main thing is I always try and be upfront with people and say, hey, I might not be able to get back to you for a while. I do want to continue our conversation, or I would love to meet up sometime. We can work around our schedules and just kind of touch base. If it's a professional relationship and we work at the same company, I'll just, say principal choice because it's easy. Say, I'm like, hey, I need to reach out to Cornella. Well, I know she's busy. I know I'm busy, but I always want to say thank you. And I just recently saw an announcement or something changing. Hey, I saw a lot of changes. I think you're handling that amazingly. Let me know if I can help. I appreciate everything you do. Just saying a hey, acknowledging them.
Yep.
Even if it's a hey, haven't talked to you in a while. I hope your day's doing well. And if you need anything, let me know. I would love to catch up. Just being able to say, hey, I'm thinking of you is so important.
Yeah.
And I really do that to make sure that we keep that channel open, and that they know that I do care. I joke around with my family and friends. I'm like, I care. Like, I've built this rapport with you.
Yeah.
Like, but not everybody has that same rapport.
100%.
They don't know me for years and years. They're just getting to know me. Hey, we don't need to touch base, but every couple of months, no worries. I'll touch base with you then, but more, maybe a couple of times extra, just to let you know I'm thinking of you and to keep that open.
Yeah, that's good. I like how it kind of translated in my brain too, was when that thought flies through, you're at least catching it. And if you're not applying action to it now, you're writing it down.
Yes.
You're making sure it's noted where it will happen. I will reach out to this person. I will do this. Because we all have millions of thoughts fly into our head all day long, in and out, all day, everywhere. But we need to make sure that we are catching those ones, especially when it comes to those relationships, those connections that we have, because that's the most important thing. That's what helps growth. That's what helps success. That's what helps understanding, learning, all of those types of things. Sure, we can learn a lot on Google, but if you can learn it from someone that you know, that's kind of two birds in one stone. You're getting to know that person, you're growing a connection, and you're learning something new.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, building that relationship is just strengthening that connection
100%.
for sure. I would rather have my best friend teach me the exact same, like how to put a windshield wiper on than YouTube, even though both will do it just fine.
100%.
I can't believe that this is the end of season 1 here.
I know. It feels weird, doesn't it? But
it does.
We've learned a lot. We've learned so much about accountability, about networking, about creatively communicating. That was another big one that we came across.
Yeah.
And staying up to date on things,
Absolutely.
certificates and learning and all of that stuff. So,
and how to have those hard conversations.
big one.
That's
Big
a
one.
huge one. Those hard conversations come in all shapes and forms, personal, professional, and how to kind of overcome them, and not just overcome them, but work through them. That was really important. So I'm really excited about everything that we learned, and I can't wait to see what else we're going to learn.
Yeah. 2026 coming right up, where we will
Find your purpose
find your people.
and find your place.
And of course, show notes. If you would like to find any more resources or leave a comment for anything that you would like to see from us next year.